can see me and hear me, please let me know in the comment section. All right. I was trying to work with my laptop and my phone and get all of this sorted, so that's why I am 5 minutes late. All right. So please, if you see me and hear me, please let me know. Now you can see me and hear me. Okay. If you can see me and hear me, please let me know in the comment section that you see me and you hear me. All right, so good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on when you are watching this. You are welcome to this session. So this is Thursday Live, okay? So I used to do this on my Facebook platform, but now I am moving it to my YouTube channel. Okay, so I'll be coming every Thursday live on YouTube by 9 p.m. to give you up-to-date knowledge about parenting. And if you're just meeting me for the first time, I am Boma Oboforibo. I'm a positive parent coach and the founder of the Positive Parenting Academy. It's an online parenting academy that helps parents like you with relatable, practical, and up-to-date knowledge on parenting that can help you to build your capacity. Okay? That capacity you need to train children, to raise children that are holistic. So children that are mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially sound. All right? And while doing that, you also thrive. Okay? So I find that most of us, we are actually surviving instead of thriving. So we are so much in chaos. Our lives are so chaotic. We are blaming the current economic challenges. We're blaming this and that, but we never make it about us. We are so stressed up with the challenges of every day-to-day activities, trying to make ends meet, trying to meet our needs, and all of those things. And guess who has to suffer for all of this? Our children. So sometimes we make it seem as if our children are a burden. Okay, so we blame them on everything that is happening in our lives. So when they do something, we go off. I recently concluded, a challenge which the Academy offers about yelling yes and connecting more. So today, I'm going to be sharing with us 4 reasons, major reasons, okay? I find that parents tend to yell because their children do not listen. Okay, so I hear parents a lot say, oh, my child doesn't listen. It's only when I yell and all. I shared a lot of things in that Yell Come Challenge. Yell less, connect more. Okay, we just concluded. But if you want to get the amazing resources, okay, that we had in that challenge, you can catch all the replays, okay? Just send me a message and I would connect with you. And you will be getting my book free of charge, right? My book, you'll be getting my book, you'll be getting a free coaching session with me. You would have access to those 5 modules we had in the Yell Come Challenge for 6 months. You will join a community where you will be listening to information that can help you, connection tools that you can use to bond with your children. Okay? So I shared a lot. But today, I'm just going to be sharing with us 4, common reasons I find that parents say, okay, or reasons that your child wouldn't listen. Because a lot of times, parents say, my child is not listening. My child is not listening. Now, I'm going to start with a food for thought, okay, by Peggy Omari. And she says, the way we talk to our children will eventually become their inner voice. So I was sharing with the parents in the Yell Come Challenge, about being intentional about our tone. So sometimes, we tend to just lash out. We tend to just, act anyhow based on how we feel. And that's why I also taught them about emotional intelligence. Most times when we are in that state of emotions, we are usually not thinking. So we can decide to behave anyhow. And even beyond that, okay, we tend to think that, okay, so I'm the parent and this is my child, so I have the right to do it anyhow I want. I do what works for me. I do it how I like it and all of that. Okay, so we will find that it's not about doing what works for you or what actually works for your child. So your child is growing, they are developing. And whatever it is that they are exposed to, that is their environment, including you, okay, will impact greatly in who they become. And that is why we are where we are today. So anything that you are doing, okay, you are a product of the environment that raised you. You cannot possibly do something out of it. So whatever you do, just know that it's a reflection of what happened to you in your childhood. But sadly, many of us, okay, are not intentional to change that narrative. So we tend to call it African parenting, right? So in the Positive Parenting Academy, which is the online academy I run, our vision is to redefine parenting in Africa. Okay, like I said, we are equipping parents. Okay, so today I am going to be telling us 4 major reasons. So you say my child doesn't listen. You don't understand. This child, it's only when I shout that they listen. Okay, these children, that is how they behave. Just don't mind them. They know what they are doing. I get that a lot. All right. So please, before you begin to say all of these things, get knowledge. Your children are not out to get you. Your children don't just want to not listen to you. They don't come out, into the world, set out with this, agenda that, oh, I'm going to frustrate mommy, I'm going to frustrate daddy. No. They are looking for a place to belong, someone that they can look up to, someone to guide them. Okay? So I'm going to be using the acronym PAW. All right? I'm going to be using the acronym PAW to give you those 4 major reasons why your children will not listen. So there was something I put up in my story today. Okay? I was talking about before you react, okay, when your child misbehaves, you should think about these things. So there were some things I shared. Most times when children misbehave, in quotes, parents tend to think, oh, this child is just very naughty. This child is not well behaved. A child is a product of what you have done. Oh, parents. Never make it about the child. Parenting starts with you. You. Okay? Parenting starts with you. If you have a problem, if you have a challenge, it's either of 2 things. It's either something is lacking in your parenting system, okay, or there is something, okay, that you have not known about your child. So it's a question of understanding your child, and there is something lacking in your parenting system. So we run a Positive Parent Circle, which is a parenting community that is run annually. This year, as we started, we've been helping parents, to parent themselves. Okay, because you realize that when you join, you come with the mindset that, oh, I want to change my child. I want my child to be better. I want my child to do this. I want my child to do that. But you realize that you have to start with you first. The child comes to this world slate. So really, whatever they start doing, it's a function of what you have showed them, or what they've observed in the environment that you have put them in. So you start from inside. So we make you realize that, okay, you need to look inward. Stop blaming the child. It's something that you need to be doing. Okay? When you do, so you don't expect your child to change so that you stop shouting. You change so that you can stop shouting. All right? So we help parents, we guide you, we support you, we give you necessary knowledge that will help to change your mindset about what it means to really parent. All right? In these times, it is a crime, that is punishable by law not to be in a parenting community, okay? Because you're parenting a different generation of children, and it's a lot. it is a lot. All right. So I'm going to be using the acronym PAUL to talk about these 4 major reasons why your child will not listen. Okay, because I identified it as a major concern for most parents. All right. So the first one is P. Okay, your parenting style. So in the parenting community, okay, we had passed the month, just last month, we were talking about, looking more inwards into the way we parent, and we talked about this, but I'm going to share just a few things. So most times, we have children and we just think that authority is when we control them, when we give instructions, when we give commands, when we just say something and we expect that everything must be done the way we have said it. Now, it's no fault of yours, okay? Because that is how we're raised. I remember growing up, when your parents have spoken, you cannot say anything. All right? Our parents created that sense of fear, to make us want to do things. But let me ask you something. All those times you were told not to do some things, did you still end up doing them? I know I did, because we never really knew why. We're just told, don't do this. If not, you'll be punished. So when we did something, we were caught, we will be punished. But we never really understood why. Instead, they made it look as if, they were stopping us from, having a good life, enjoying ourselves. And we are always trying to sneak to go and do this thing or that thing. They never really told us why. There was no real relationship, We were scared to even tell them certain things for fear of the reaction and the punishments that will go with it. And so that is what we tend to do. But here's the downside of it. It's generational. So when we keep on with that circle, okay, it is traumatizing. A lot of us have been traumatized by some of these experiences we had. Most of these things, we go into it, okay? Some of you may want to deny it, but when I start engaging with you, the fact that you even deny it shows that you are traumatized, okay? So trauma may not necessarily be physical trauma. Most of us did go through that, flogging and all that. It could be emotional trauma, okay? It could be different kinds of trauma. So part of what we also do in the Positive Parenting Academy is that we run a course, Healing Your Inner Child. We are looking at raising children that don't have to heal from their childhood. Yelling at a child is traumatizing for the brain. I shared a lot of that in that YELCOME challenge that we just concluded, and it was a really, really amazing time of learning, understanding the certain things that we do, and we think, okay, this is African parenting. African children are different, and all those myths that we have carried for too long that are not serving us, and they have to go. All right? So your parenting style, okay? So most of us, we are like commanders in chief of the armed forces. We talk to our children the way we like, we criticize them in public, we shame them, we demand total obedience, we shout at them, we embarrass them, we compare, we threaten, we guilt trip, when we don't, their opinion doesn't matter. So when you've said something, that's fine now. When something happens, you don't even want to hear their own side. You just draw your own conclusions. You say, okay, I'm punishing you, I'm grounding you. You slap them, you raise your voice, you call them names, you give them labels. When they do something, you give them consequences that are unrelated to what it is they did by punishing them. Guess what? When you do those kind of parenting methods, right, it will get to a time that your children will no longer listen to you. So I have a parent, that was complaining. By the time your children get to the teenage years, when your influence is no longer very much, okay, they begin to look at friends, other adults, pop culture, and all that. They will not be listening to you anymore. So you start shouting, this child, I carried you for 9 months. I have, these are guilt trips. You will not kill me. I didn't kill my mother. All those kind of things we say. And then you see yourself yelling. They will not be doing what you ask them to do, because over time, this form of parenting, I'm going to talk about other types of parenting. This form of parenting that I just explained will lead to the 4 arrows of negative discipline. Okay, so I call it negative discipline because you think you are disciplining your child, whereas your child is waiting for Independence Day to live. They are just doing it, now out of fear or because they don't have a choice for now. Okay, so but a time will come when they've had it. Even an animal, when you're flogging an animal, trying to make them to go and do something, it gets to a point when the animal says, look, I have had it, right? I can't do this again. They rebel. So the 4 arrows: rebellion. Rebellion is they will become, disobedient. They will become defiant. They will say, look, this thing you are doing is not fair. Okay, I can't take this anymore, right? Because they are human beings. Okay, it will lead to resentment. So they start harboring very hurtful, thoughts about you. Because how can you treat a human being like that? Somebody you call your child, because you say you are disciplining the child. There's no love, no connection. And that's why in the parenting community, we are big on connection. Okay? We explain how the brain of a child works. All right? You engage, you don't enrage. So all these parenting styles I explained, you're just enraging your child's brain, and it will lead to resentment. So they will resent you. That's this, very hard bitterness and hatred for the things you're doing. They will resent you. They will not trust you. So they will, you're pushing them to other people. And guess what? Those other people don't have the best of intentions. You that claims to have the best of intentions for them, okay? You are clinging onto myths, calling it African parenting and shouting and all of that. Another thing is, okay, it will lead to revenge. So they want to get even. That's why you see some children, they do some things that are just surprising, and you're like, how can this child behave like this? They do some things at home because they have held these things. And another thing I want to say, because in the Yacom challenge we just finished, we talked about emotional intelligence. Another thing I find, in the parenting that is so wrong, the things that we've done in the past, is that we don't allow expression of emotion. Like if you express your emotion, is a taboo. But we are emotional beings. That is how our brain even evolved. I was explaining all of that in that challenge. So you can't express, like when your parent does something, you're angry about it. You have no right to say, I'm angry. Like how? So all of those emotions are bottled in, because emotions are not meant to be suppressed or repressed. They are meant to be expressed. But you don't give your children the opportunity to express these emotions. So they revenge, okay, because they are so vengeful, they are so hurtful. So when the emotions finally come out, it comes out in very ugly ways, because they were not given a safe place, an outlet. They were not given strategies to be able to express these emotions freely without being judged and criticized, all because of your parenting style. Okay? Another thing is that they would retreat. So these are the 4 arrows. Retreat will mean that, okay, they will become so docile, they would appear as if they are compliant, and you're saying, oh wow, these children are now obeying me, right? But they have devised a way not to get caught. They say, okay, let her continue doing whatever she does. I will just be answering. When I leave, I know what I will do. So I'm sure you don't want all of this. Now, this is on one extreme. The other extreme of parenting style is the permissive. Those permissive people are not off the hook, okay? They are the ones that are so laid back. I have this parent, she doesn't talk. Her children will just do anything. So laid back. They do the right thing, they do the wrong thing, you're not bothered, okay? You just allow them, okay? You're more like a friend to them. You don't caution them, you don't set boundaries, you don't explain to them what is safe, what is allowed. You don't allow them to understand what your family stands for, okay? So you kind of coerce them. Oh, please do this, do that. You're not firm. There's a difference between being firm and the one I just explained. So this other extreme is also a problem, because when you do this type of style, your children will not take you seriously. That is another reason why they won't listen. So we're talking about parenting styles, okay? We're using the acronym PAW, and I've been talking about P, parenting style. So this may be the reason your children do not listen. Now, the next thing is A, attention span issues. Okay? Attention span issues. All right. So most times as parents, we set unrealistic expectations for our children. Now, there are different attention span limits or, ranges for different age groups. So smaller children, the attention span doesn't go beyond 10-15 minutes. Okay? At most 10 for the preschoolers. For school age children, it doesn't go between 20 minutes. When you have the older children from 30 and all that. So most times, your child's attention span, is short, that they are not able to listen or follow through. Most times you give so many instructions. Go and do this, go and do that, So for different age groups, there's a way to communicate with them. We teach you all of these things in the Positive Parenting Academy. You can't communicate the same way with a preschooler, to a school age child, to a teenager, okay? There are different communication ways because we understand that each of those developmental stages come with their peculiarities, okay? Most parents will just, relate with all their children the same way, the same style, the same everything, and expect them to listen. All right? And another major problem, which I want to emphasize on this point, why they would even have attention problems is because of the screen. Now, in this world where everybody is hustling, trying to do this and that, you just use screen as the parent. Now, the thing your child spends the most time with is actually what is parenting them. So if you're one of those parents that your children are on screen 24/7, when they are going to school, you don't even see them in the morning because you have gone out. They come back, somebody probably brings them back. They are just on screen all through until they go and sleep. You are taking away attention. So you think that they are focusing because it's the easy thing for you to do, to keep them engaged, because you don't know any other thing, and because it's a quick fix. Now, it is addictive, and most children are glued to it. It's not so much about what it is they are learning, whatever educational stuff. The fact that they are being exposed to screen for that long period of time is damaging for their brain. Parents, please let us understand this. Putting your child on those screens saying, oh, they are social media savvy, they are tech savvy, they are learning this and that. That is not the question. It's the addiction. Being exposed to that. Even as adults, we cannot even be disciplined when it comes to being on screens. Not to talk of children that their brain is still developing. The American Academy of Pediatricians have warned children less than 2 should have no business with screen unless it's a video call where there's interaction to improve social skills, because children at that age need humans and people to interact with. Screen does not allow for interaction. Screen, studies have shown recently that children now develop autism, not because they were genetically prone to it, but because of the too much screen exposure. So we now have entities like screen autism, where children have problem with language and it affects their cognitive development. So they will not even be able to listen to you because they are so dysregulated. They are not able to follow through with instructions. You'll be so aggressive and throw tantrums, severe tantrums. So it would affect the attention span. Most of these your children, I see the other day, I went somewhere and the children were just all over the place. I just see, because this is the trend, tablets everywhere you go. You go to a salon, you give your child tablets. They are just on the tablet. They are walking on the staircase, you give them your phone. They are walking on the road, they are watching all these educational things in quotes that you claim. They are watching rhymes, they are doing this. They are not even in touch with people and human beings around them. When you take it out, you can see their reaction to it, how they just cry and shout until you give it back. What kind of world are we living in? We are not interacting with humans, but with screens. That is why your child will not listen, because you have taken away attention. They cannot pay attention to you because screen has taken away focus and attention. It has distorted the brain that it is dysregulated. So we should be very wary of what we use screen for. Let the screen work for you and not you working for the screen. Make the best use of it. In the community, the parenting community, okay, we talk about screen, media guides, screen rules, and all those things. We share with you what you can do, okay, to make it meaningful, to have limits, to have boundaries as a family and communicate it, to engage children, because most times parents are at a loss. Okay, what can I do? There are other things that you can engage children in that will help them with their attention span, okay, so that when they talk, or rather when you talk to them, they are going to listen to you, okay. So A is attention span issue. That is why your child will not listen. Now the next thing is you, which means unpredictable, okay. So you're unpredictable in your discipline strategies. So in the Positive Parenting Academy, discipline is a core. Discipline is a core, and I'm currently working on a book on how best to discipline, okay, because it is a need in parenting. However, we have to do it right. So one major reason why your child will not listen is because you are not predictable, okay, in your discipline strategy. So you don't have a discipline toolbox. If I asked you now, what are the things in your discipline toolbox? How do you discipline your child for different things? Everything that happens is to shout. If you don't shout, you will threaten. If you don't threaten, you will flog. That is all you know. And all those things come from frustration. When you come back, you're frustrated. That is why you do those things. That is why you do those things. Those things are not discipline. They are just punishments. You are making the child to suffer for something you have not taught, from just being a child, because you don't know, okay. You are punishing them. You're not disciplining them. Discipline is structure. You don't even have a structure in your home. If I asked you, is there a structure around different things? Do you have routines? Do you have boundaries? Is your family known for something? Are you standing for something as a family? That is discipline. Even you as a person, you are not disciplined. In your place of work, when they say come to work at this time, do you come? Do you stay at your place of work? Do you do what you're supposed to do? So these are the issues. But we want to insist that we flog our children because we don't even know what it means to discipline, because we are frustrated, okay. So your children will not listen because they cannot even predict what happens at home. Today you are saying, okay, I will flog you. Tomorrow you let them off the hook. Today you say you are grounded, you won't go and play. Unrelated events to things that happen. You're not addressing the issue. They're not even learning anything, because the goal of disciplining a child is for them to understand. Most times when we are flogged, did we not go back to doing those things? And let me ask you, if you're still flogging your child for those things that they were doing, doesn't that tell you something? It means that you have not really achieved anything, because if your goal is to stop them from doing it in the long term. So if you flog them and shout, you may just, express your frustration, but you've not really explained to them what's the danger of doing that thing, or why they should not do it, or what you want them to do. You have not built skills, you have not taught them anything, you have not connected with them. You are just there meting out instructions. You don't get authority when you force them and you control. You earn it from trust and respect. And how can you be seen to be trusted and respected? It's when you have a relationship. Most of us don't have a relationship with our children. And when I talk about relationship, it's using it as a tool, not that your child is your friend. Remember, I talked about permissive. The permissive parent is doing BFF with their children. Your child is not your best friend for life, okay? So you will find yourself begging them, and that will be a problem, because they won't listen, because they don't take you seriously. So the third thing, which is you, is that you're not predictable in the way you discipline your child. Okay? So children thrive on predictability. They need to know what is expected of them, and you must be seen to be consistent about it. So if you say today, tomorrow you don't say, they are confused. You're sending confusing signals. Okay? All right. And the last thing I'm going to be talking on is their learning style. Okay? So we're going to be having a course later in the year when we talk about boosting your child's learning performance. We're going to share that. But in the Parenting Academy, we're currently looking at studying our children. Our children are curriculums to be studied. So we're going to be teaching parents there a lot about this, because it determines how you relate, how your parenting will be. Okay? So most times children don't listen because that is not how they learn. So if you don't know your child's learning style and how to relate with them, it's going to be a struggle. Okay? We all learn differently. So that is why some parents will say, this one, they will say, pikin wey go spoil, go spoil. All those myths. That is because most of these parents have used the same way to train all their children. No, I have 2 girls and I don't discipline them the same way. I don't relate with them the same way, because they are 2 different people. Even twins cannot behave the same way. So when they say things like pikin wey go spoil, it's because they have not discovered how to relate with that child. That's why even in classes, teachers struggle, because they don't understand how children learn. They just have one stereotyped way of teaching, and they insist and demand that every child must, follow with that method. That is why they are teachers. They have to be flexible and understand each child as a unique child. That's what we call them, okay, in the positive parenting circle, in the academy. We call them unique children. They are different, totally different from the next child, okay? So their learning style, they will not listen if that's not how they learn. So next time you are frustrated that your child is not listening, you need to go and ask yourself, do I know my child's learning style? So how do I communicate in a way that they will listen? And we share all of these things so much in the community, right? If you want to be a part of the community, then you are in luck, okay? Because registration is ongoing for the next cohort. It's going to be starting in November, but you can start your payment now, okay? You can start now, book a slot, send a DM to me right away. I'm going to give you details. Book a slot and you can spread the rest of your payments in November. Okay, in the meantime, be a part of the other courses and programs that the community offers. The academy, I told you about the Yearcome Challenge. It's a very good place to start. You also get my book for free. I wrote a book on the powerful skills that successful parents teach their children, because most times children lack skills. That is why we even shout, we yell, and all of that. There are some skills that if your child has, you will not have to shout over a lot of things, okay? It will no longer be a problem. So building skills in your child is a critical aspect of your parenting. And these skills you can't build if you are not skilled yourself. So in that book, I shared so much on those skills. I dwelt a lot on it. You're going to be getting that free when you sign up for the Yearcome Challenge. All right, so send me a DM. If you're a parent out there, you need this. Send me a DM now. Share this link to as many parents you know. You don't know who you will be saving. These days, parenting is not a game of chance. It's not by, I will do what works for me. The world has an agenda. They are scripting. Everything that is done is a function of script. There's a script that the world is writing, and they are using it to get our children. It's no longer peace at Zion. We must be intentional. We must be strategic. We must be, bold. We must have our own agenda. We cannot just be at ease in Zion. Parents, we need to wake up, okay? Join hands together. We do life in communities, okay? Get plugged to the system of parenting where you'll be hearing constantly what you need to do at every point in a child's life. Children grow in different developmental stages. The thing is that when you miss one stage, it becomes a struggle I know parents that are currently struggling with their teenagers because they failed to do some certain things when they were much younger. If you're hearing me now, there's a reason, okay, for you to act now. Don't say tomorrow. Your children grow every day. I hear some parents say, oh, they give all manner of excuses. Those excuses are tenable, but they will not give you results. Okay, you cannot do it when it's best for you. Your child will not wait till when it's most convenient. You need to do it now. If you have a child, that is the advantage that child will have, because you have been exposed to this information. So sign up now, book a slot, be part of this challenge, get the book, read it, understand some things that you will need to help your child. Okay, so I'll be waiting for you. Thank you so much. I hope that you got value. If you did, I want to see you in the comment section. Write what it is you learned, okay, and what you'll be doing differently. Again, if you're just joining in, I'm Boma Oboforibo. I'm a positive parent coach and the founder of the Positive Parenting Academy. It's an online academy that helps parents, to build their capacity to be able to raise the generation of children we have now, which are the Gen Zs and the Alphas, right? So I run a Positive Parent Circle, an annual community for parents. One cohort is currently ongoing. You can sign up for the next cohort that starts in November. Okay, I also run a Skill Kids Hub because we're big on skills. So usually the ages of between 5 to 10 is when you should be teaching children skills. So, I'm raising skilled kids. I run that Skill Kids Hub. We started in January and it has been an amazing time. If you have a child in that age range, you need to sign up your child for the next one, okay? So I'm rooting for you, all right? My joy is that every parent will be reached. I'm going to the ends of the earth to spread this gospel of redefining parenting in Africa. So if you're a parent out there, share this to every parent you know, okay? Let them listen. The more you hear, the more you hear. The Bible says that faith comes by hearing. Faith comes by hearing. The more you hear, the better you become. Your minds are renewed, okay? There was an anchor scripture I shared when I went to a PTA meeting, Romans 12:2. I said, we are renewed, okay? We are not conformed. We're not saying I'm an African parent. That is a myth. Just throw that away and embrace a new mindset, okay? A new perspective about parenting. All right, so thank you so much for listening to me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, so that whenever I have any posts or videos, you can be notified. I share wonderful tips that can help you in your journey. So we're going to be doing this every Thursday live at 9 p.m. I hope to see you next week, Thursday, for an amazing time again. All right, that will be all, and bye for now.